I'd like to do now is go to the work of the psychologist, the Mexican psychologist, Margarita Tarragona, whose expertise include positive psychology as well as narrative therapy. And she brought these two worlds together. She starts her book, Positive Identities, by discussing the different versions of yourself, specifically by asking a question from the movie in which Tom Hanks asks Meg Ryan the following question. Do you ever feel like you've become the worst version of yourself? So let's take this question and give it a positive psychological spin. Do you ever feel like you have become the best version of yourself? Or here is the question for the coach, whether it's coaching yourself or others. How can you become the best version of yourself? Because you know, we all have different versions in us. Sometimes we're nasty, sometimes we're nice. Sometimes we're harmful, sometimes we're helpful. How can you become the best version of yourself? More specifically, how can you bring that version out more often in more situations? And it's really a question of identity. And in Latin, the source, the root of the word identity is sameness, suggesting that we have an identity and we behave the same in different situations. But that's not the case, and we know that. In fact, going back to the work done by Walter Mischel, the identity only predicts 10% of behaviors. We have different behaviors. I sometimes behave like an extrovert, sometimes like an introvert. I'm sometimes nasty, I'm sometimes nice. So how can I make that nice, helpful, confident part of myself more dominant? How can it become my dominant story? In the words of Tarragona, we can choose to embody, bring forth, or perform different ways of being, different versions of who we are. We can tell disempowering or empowering stories. What version of myself do I choose to highlight? Tarragona again. The stories we tell about our lives are not simply accounts of our experiences. They also generate experiences. How we feel, what we think, what possibilities and obstacles we see for ourselves. Because if my story is, I can't do mathematics, if that is my dominant story, then it's not just affecting the way I look at the past, it's also impacting what I'm experiencing right now, and it will also affect how much motivation I'll have in the future and how well I will do in the future. If the story I highlight, grounded subjectivity, not detached from reality, grounded subjectivity, if that story is about times when I have succeeded in mathematics, or as a parent, or a partner, or when the organization did well and was safe, or we had positive experiences with our clients and the baggage, or when I wasn't stressed or anxious in my work. If these are the stories that I tell and highlight, they inspire the present and also create a better future. They affect how we feel, what we think, what possibilities and obstacles we see for ourselves.